Hey everyone, I woke up this morning to some pretty big news, it looks like, in terms of some enhancement changes in Frosthaven. So Isaac has just released a Kickstarter update in Frosthaven saying how they are changing the enhancement dots and how enhancements can be placed and how much they cost. And I think he underplays it a little bit, but this is a really big change to how enhancements are going to work and function in Frosthaven. Okay, so improving the enhancement dots. This is the Frosthaven update from Isaac, and I think this is quite an important one, and it changes a few things, and it cleans up a few rules things, which I think is really, really good. So if we just go through it together, he says that this week it's relatively small, but you wanted to introduce you to the new enhancement system. I think it underplays it a little bit. I think this is an important, rules clarification and a tidying up of the rules that players, I think, have been asking for, or at least a bit more clarity on how it's going to function in Frosthaven, because Gloomhaven wasn't a perfect system, so this is going to be interesting. The system is largely the same as it was in Gloomhaven, with some updated costs and disarm removed. I think this is a huge deal. Very good idea. Disarm is far too strong as a ability to be able to add it, I think, in the game. It makes the game kind of trivial at times if you put it on the right sort of place. Yes, it's a very expensive enhancement, or it was. I don't know if there could ever be a cost really attributed to this to make it fair, if you like. It would either be far too expensive and players would just never be able to get it, or they should just remove it from the game. And I think removing it as an available enhancement, I think, is fair. So, yep, I'm all behind that change. But the one big change is to take the single enhancement symbol, a simple dot, and turn it into 5 symbols. So you see in Gloomhaven, there are a lot of rules overhead and resulting confusion about what enhancements could go with what abilities. And so one of the Frosthaven playtesters, Justin Dowell, developed a new method that would place the restrictions of what enhancements could be used on the symbols themselves. Okay, great. I think this is a good idea. Make it a little bit more clearer so it's not always just a circle. Makes a lot of sense. Personally, I didn't really struggle with kind of like rules problems myself. I think that the actual Gloomhaven manual did a very good job of explaining this, but I could understand why, because all of the dots look exactly the same, so I could see why a player might just assume that they could do something before checking the manual or something. So you did have to have that kind of errata at the back to be very clear on what enhancement could go where, and now this gives you that glance value of, okay, this can go here, without having to maybe look at the rule book if you wanted to while you're thinking about your enhancement. So yeah, positive change, I think. So first off, we have a square symbol seen here, which can only hold a +1 sticker, which is also a square to make things even more clear. I think that's a great change. Makes it nice and easy. If the ability is a jump, the square can also house a jump sticker, which is the one special case in the whole system. Well, jump is always going to be something that's going to go on a move action, so this shouldn't really, make the whole system fall apart, because it's a very obvious what you put jump on, I think, anyway. So yeah, that's super good. I like this so far. Next, we have a circle symbol, which is the same as what we've had before, which can hold anything a square can hold, or instead hold an element. So nice. So you have the option here to either make this move 1 a +1, or you could make it, for example, a fire or an earth, whatever you'd like for your element for your class. That's cool. I think that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, behind that as well, I think that's very clear. Next up, we have this diamond. So then we have a diamond symbol, which can hold anything a circle can hold, or instead hold a negative condition. So this will be things like poison, wound, immobilize, muddle, curse. Those things can go on these particular ones. I guess this is good because what they can now do is they can now, for example, if they want to print a really big AoE ability, for example, and they don't want you to have the ability to put curse on it, or poison or wound, maybe make the game a little bit too easy, they now have the ability to, instead of chucking this diamond symbol on, they could just chuck the circle symbol on to say, we're aware that maybe a certain enhancement might make this a bit too good. So it's a way that they can kind of catch a few of these problems, I think, but also still giving you the ability to do it. It will definitely limit a little bit of what players can do depending on how they do this. I'm all for it, though. I think the game needs more balancing, and I trust the Frosthaven team and Isaac to balance the game well. So for me, this is a really good positive change. This just stops some of those kind of some of those awkward combos sometimes that kind of pop up in Gloomhaven that are just very, very strong, and they kind of warp the game sometimes. And sometimes some characters just end up having, you know, being a bit of a one-trick pony once they get a certain enhancement, and that's the thing that they do. So I think this is a positive thing. Just sort of like nip those problems in the bud. Give people a bit more variety on, like, well, maybe you don't just immediately go for this enhancement. Maybe instead you go for an enhancement that makes more sense for you and the way you play, rather than always just saving up for the overpowered enhancement that every kind of character wants, right? This also means that they can start doing things with strengthen, different things with strengthen and heals and things, which we'll come to a little bit later as well. We'll talk about that in a bit. So also there's this one. So there's the similar diamond plus. So it's got a little plus symbol in it, like the diamond, but for positive conditions. And of course, the condition stickers are diamonds to match. So you would see this on, you know, heal abilities. You would see this on maybe bless abilities, things, strengthen abilities for allies, things that affect you or your allies. This is where this kind of symbol is going to prop up. Like I said, this is good because if you wanted to enhance strengthen, for example, it would need to be on this symbol. It wouldn't be able to be done on just a standard circular symbol, which is what has been done before. People turning heal wands into strengthen selves was way too strong, and was basically the go-to enhancement for most characters in the game. So I'm kind of glad to see that gone. I think that means now that there's going to be a lot more variety in what they can do without worry of people breaking things. And if they do think something in particular could be a bit too strong, they can now just change the enhancement dots. So I'm really behind this. I think this is great. Although it's going to maybe give people a little bit less flexibility. So perhaps, you know, really breaking the game in certain points might be a bit harder. I think in general, it's going to balance the power level and the difficulty of the game better. And that's a good thing, in my opinion. So I'm all for this. I think this is really good. And finally, we're going to have the hex symbol, which is just for adding hexes to the area effect abilities. Well, I think this one was fairly straightforward from Gloomhaven, right? I think most people understood that that's what that was. But yeah, really nice to just see that cleaned up and basically in line with all of the other things. The beauty of this is that the players just have to match shapes. In Gloomhaven, if there was an enhancement dot next to the range of a summon's hit point value, it may be clear to some of you that you could only apply a +1 sticker, but now it is even more clear. Yeah, like I said, sometimes you might think that you could add an element or wound or poison to it because all of the stickers looked exactly the same, and unless you actually went to the rulebook and saw what you could apply to a summon, you wouldn't actually have known. So at a glance value, it wasn't great. So I think this is a really good change. And the delineation not only helps players keep the rules straight, but also allows us more versatility and balance in the design. Yeah, so as I was saying, I really agree with this, and I think this is a really, really good choice. So I'm very, very pleased with this. I think this is a great change. Maybe an ability would be too powerful if a player was allowed to enhance it with a condition or element, but a +1 would be just fine. Previously, we may just not allow enhancement, but now we can put in a square enhancement symbol, giving the player more agency. Brilliant, yeah. So what Isaac's saying there is essentially that, you know, now they can print a symbol like just a little circle symbol next to an attack that's a big AoE without the worry of players abusing it. And to a point where they might actually consider taking it away. So although it may from the onset feel like they're taking away maybe a bit of versatility in the way that you can play, what they're actually saying is that, well, we're going to be able to still allow you to enhance some of these more powerful abilities in the game, but we're not going to allow you to maybe just go that extra little step and do those things that really make the game just trivial or just far too strong, right? So it allows them to balance it, but still giving you the ability to enhance those powerful things. Because in Frosthaven, they may have ended up just not actually putting enhancement dots on a lot of stuff if they kept it the same way. So this actually means that enhancements are going to be still a big part of your sort of process of building your character, and you're actually going to have more versatility and you're going to have more decisions to make as a player. Do I want to enhance this or do I want to enhance this? What do I use more? Rather than always just defaulting to, hey, I'm going to stick strengthen on my bottom heal because it's the best thing I can do. So I really, really like this. Yes, it does help us keep a handle on some of the more powerful enhancements to keep the balance in check. No more repeatable mass cursing. Yep. No more strengthening yourself with the bottom heal action for 2 turns of advantage attacks. No more infusing your favorite element with every single move ability you own, which I think is great. I think, yeah, making the characters a little bit more interesting to play rather than, a lot of the time you could just use enhancements to just break things. So I really, really like this. So yeah, just one of the many small things to get excited about. We're really working to improve this game over Gloomhaven in every conceivable way to give you a more epic and balanced experience. For now though, it's getting late, but I've still got some things to cross off my to-do list. So have a great weekend and I'll catch you next time. Well, for me, this is a fantastic update. I think this is really good. I really, really like this change. I'm well behind it. I think it was something that needed to happen, and I'm glad that we've kind of we've been told about it. And I think the way that they've done it is actually excellent. I think it's a really, really good way of doing it. Still giving us the ability to probably enhance most of our cards if you really want to, but without having those stupid, you know, I guess you would say just standard always get enhancements that just make the game a little bit stale sometimes, or make certain characters very pigeonholed in what they should do. So yeah, really, really like this. So positive update from me, and yep, I'm really excited and I can't wait to see what more we've got to come in Frosthaven. Okay, so just a really quick video there for you guys today. I just noticed that this was updated. I woke up to it just as I was about to go to my house, and I thought, no, I've got to make a video on this because this is a really important change. It's a really good change that I'm very excited about. So how do you find it? Do you agree with these changes? Do you think they're good for the game? Do you maybe don't agree with them? Maybe you do like having all of that different versatility of being able to do whatever you like. Personally, I'm all in favor of the game being more balanced and being a bit more structured. So, and I like my game to be difficult, and some of the enhancements before made the game too easy in my opinion. So I'm really excited for this. I think this is a really good change, but let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. If you did like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I do really appreciate it. It helps me out so much here on YouTube. And also head on over to twitch.tv/mandatoryquests, where I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday. And on Sunday, so tomorrow, I will be doing multiplayer with viewers on stream. So come hang out if you want to play some live Gloomhaven digital, and yeah, just have a good fun time playing Gloomhaven. Okay, that wraps up the video. Thank you all so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Bye.
I think still, yeah.
That's the blessing from Cab. That's the blessing from.
Isaac, at this point, can we get your approval to add an additional attack modifier deck for allies in the digital version?